Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome indeed, welcome. Attendees, yeah, fantastic. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll just wait a moment or two for more people to join and the attendees numbers to go up a little before we start formally this presentation from the Association of Professional Property Investors. My name is Simon Evison, I'm your host, and we will begin formally, for want of repeating myself, in a few seconds. We've got a number of guests joining us, just to give you a bit of an outline of what is happening this evening. All are members of the A.P.P.I, and they'll be sharing with you their experiences of being a member, how it's benefiting them in their career, and also some of their experiences will resonate with you. And we have, and our members that are joining us are all professional property investors themselves. They're going to be speaking a little, and as I say, some of what they have experienced will resonate with you, be relevant to you in your property journey so far. One of whom is Lindsay Hopkins, the founder and CEO of the Association of Professional Property Investors. Lindsay, shall we begin formally?
Yes, please, Simon.
Okay, fantastic. Then if you are just joining us, which I can still see one or two are, welcome to this webinar from the Association of Professional Property Investors. I'm Simon Evison, and today I'm going to be talking with founder and chairman Lindsay Hopkins, and we'll also be interviewing a number of other members of the association to hear what the A.P.P.I has to offer and how it benefits them and how it can benefit you as property investors. And at the end of this by the end of this webinar, we'll show you how you can get involved as well. But first, Lindsay, let me come to you, if I may, and ask a simple question to start with.
Yes.
What is the Association of Professional Property Investors?
The Association of Professional Property Investors is a collective of property investors, all the way from people brand new who have just put their hand up and said, I want to be a landlord, all the way to established landlords who have a trillion billion houses, or developers, or people who run a sourcing company or a service accommodation company, or a cow dung eco brick development company, or somebody who builds towns. So it spans everything to do with property investment, and it's apart from anything else, it's a collective and it's a community. So that.
Okay, that seems pretty clear what the purpose is. Then how does it benefit somebody who is a member of the association? Okay,
I mean, you're going to be talking tonight, and just to reassure people listening, welcome, hi. This is an invitation this evening. At some stage I'll probably say, look, we want you to join A.P.P.I at least about 10 times, but it's an invitation, it's not a sell. But so you'll hear a lot of the benefits from a variety of people who you see in front of you. Toby, Amit, Harj are all members of A.P.P.I. They're also board members, actually, so it's a chance for me to say thank you, because they give up their time for free at the moment anyway, to help us in various areas to build up the association. Let me just give you some benefits. So an opportunity to talk with people with no pre-agenda. So there's no upsell, there's no course to buy, there is no agenda at all. It is literally just for the mutual benefit and if you like, support, which is a great word, of property investors. Open and honest forums. So for example, somebody may mention this again this evening, but Once a month, there is a Solve My Property Problem forum. It's unique because there are lots of property networks in the UK, but they sometimes are run or sponsored by people. So therefore, even if it's not too crass, there might be an agenda there. Whereas Solve My Property Problem is a forum. It's run by A.P.P.I. Most of the board members attend. They are all attendees are members, and you can ask anything you want. It's politically correct because obviously it's chaired by myself and Michelle Montgomery, who helps me run A.P.P.I. with the board. But it's a non-threatening environment for anybody who is in property. I'll chip in a couple of other benefits as we go, Simon, but that's probably enough embellishment for now. Hey.
Indeed. Well, thank you. So we're going to dive into some of those unique aspects throughout this webinar as well. So let's go to our first guest then. Haj Power, are you there? Yes, I can see you on the screen.
Hi,
thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Okay, so first question to you then. Well, it's more of an intro, really. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your property investment experience so far, and also why you got into property?
Yes, so I first of all just want to thank you everyone for actually having me on this webinar this evening. So I actually, before I started my property journey, I was in the finance and accounting industry. I'm a member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, but I don't really enjoy the profession. So I got married about 3 years ago and then moved from Essex to from Birmingham to Essex, and then realised actually I don't want to go back in the profession. And then I actually was encouraged by my husband to pursue what my passion was. I always had an interest in property, but I never thought I could afford to go down this route. So I did a lot of research, and then my husband supported me, and we purchased our first buy-to-let last year in the West Midlands. And then that gave me the confidence, doing my own research, and then, going through the process. And then I thought, you know what, this is what I want to do full time. So to help me support myself on the journey, I invested in myself, and I attended a number of different property courses. This is to kind of learn the different strategies that are out there, and then it's also to kind of grow among members that have actually had a lot of experience and expertise in the industry. So yeah, that's my journey so far, and I'm currently now looking to scale my portfolio.
Terrific. So in amongst all of that, then the A.P.P.I. appeared in your life, and you, like others, decided to get involved. What aspects of the organisation compelled you to join?
So on one of my property courses, I was actually really drawn in by Lindsay's energy, and I just felt like, I want to learn and grow from someone with so much knowledge, skills and experience. I really felt that this A.P.P.I. community is so key to me, key for me at the moment now, being a newbie in the industry, to grow among such a reputable community. And I just felt like it would be really great to rub shoulders with the giants and, be able to give back as well where I can. Just being able to, in the actual monthly webinars, I've been able to speak to everyone about the experiences that I'm going through, and Lindsay constantly stresses no question is silly. It's so good to be able to find solutions every time if you come across a problem. And I think it's so important now to join. And, I am a firm believer that what you put out is what you get back. So to be a good landlord, you will get a good tenant in return if you do go through the good processes and motions. And yeah, I just felt like it would be really good to be part of a strong community that can kind of give me the guidance, support and solutions when needed. Yeah, and also A.P.P.I.'s integrity really aligns well with my values, as stressed earlier. That I'm gonna stop. Okay.
That's great. Loads of facets there that sound well really attractive. Which one of those, if you could pick out one, do you think is most relative to you now at the level of experience that you have, right now in June 2022?
So, like I said, the webinars I just felt were really key to me because, you know, we can speak to, like, every member in the community is just so knowledgeable, and, you know, they've got so much experience, and, you know, for newbies, it's good to learn from them. And then also, you know, for the ones that are more experienced, it's great for them to kind of re-jog their memory, or like even be able to just support everyone else, and it's all just like a win-win for everyone. So I just think that that's really great to be a part of that community. And also, you know, in the last webinars, we've been able to discuss, you know, current affairs in the property industry, which I think is really important to keep up to date with. So yeah, I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah. So Lindsay touched on this earlier as well. He said there are other organisations out there within the industry. Is there anything specific about the A.P.P.I that makes them different to other similar groups?
Yeah, I would say that, you know, there's a WhatsApp group that's available to all members. So, you know, anytime you have a problem, a general query, something to just run past someone by, you know, you can instantly get a response on WhatsApp. And also, I think the A.P.P.I is unique. I mean, look, every member in the community is unique. So we are a unique, you know, community. And I just think that's really important to be a part of, if you can. Oh, sorry, I can't hear anyone.
We lost the sound for a minute. Don't worry. I think that was national Zoom.
Sorry, did anyone hear what I just said, or?
The last, we missed about 30 seconds, Haj.
It was just that I think that A.P.P.I is unique. We're all unique, and this community is really unique. So that's what I would say A.P.P.I is.
Awesome, awesome.
Thank
well,
you.
I know there's lots there for other investors who are listening that they can relate to quite easily. And like I said, I think at the beginning, there's going to be lots of different pieces of information coming across that different people will relate to different things. So thank you so much for that, Haj. Now, as I said at the beginning of the webinar, we'll show you, or Lindsay will show you how you can get involved. But first, Lindsay, can I come back to you for a moment before we go to our next guest, which is going to be Toby. So Lindsay, anyone can apply to join, can't they?
Yes, they can.
And you vet people before you accept them, don't you? Can you talk me through the vetting process?
Yeah, I mean, the vetting is, I mean, so what we want to do is open our arms to every property investor. But in conjunction with that, I suppose, is a bit of a weird thing, in as much as with the joining, we want you to get involved with being prepared to sign a code of conduct. So, and the code of conduct would, by definition, mean that you are not, and I'm not sure I like the term, but it's bandied around, so I guess we can use it. So somebody who's prepared to sign a code of conduct and join would not be a slumlord. So would be caring about their tenants. So they have ethics, strong ethics with each other landlords, vendors, tenants, service providers, etc., etc. So somebody's joining, telling us about themselves, telling us about their training, their history, perhaps their strategy, where they are geographically, and so on and so forth. So we're checking that you're a good person. We are not doing a credit check. If any of the board of directors have heard of some bad stuff, we reserve the right to say, hi, the 72,000 complaints on Facebook about you, could you possibly explain that? So there will be the chance of preventing, it sounds yucky, but bad eggs joining. But to be honest with you, similar to a lot of associations, it's everybody join, but do be aware that we are prepared to name and shame if you breach the code of conduct. Does that make sense with the vetting?
It does. And what I'm getting from this, and maybe you can corroborate that, is that you're protecting your members as well. You're making sure that those that join are cared for, looked after, that they're not exposed to, well, those bad eggs that you mentioned.
Yeah,
would that be fair to say?
it is, and in addition to that, we are slowly but surely, and the whole thing about the formation of an association, we, if you like, formally set up around about November last year. The whole thing is it gains momentum. So the more we are, the louder we are, and the more clout we've got. So in addition to looking after ourselves and making sure we're good people, we will be recommending service providers, so traders and so on and so forth. So there will be a version, we don't quite know what it looks like, of, if you like, trusted trader. But again, you know, if somebody is a bit naughty, I think our members would like to find out. Our members will always have the choice to make their own choice, the freedom to make their own choices, but we will flag up the fact that somebody's been a bit naughty.
Mm-hmm. So those trades and professionals, how will you choose them? Will they be people that you've used before, or will they come from recommendations?
They will literally be recommended by fellow members, and there is a system of geographical recognition. So as you join, we find out where you live, and we find out where you are buying. There may be several areas, so there'll be an opportunity to have buddies and link up. So you may live in sunny Kent, and you may invest in Ashby de la Zouch. So you may want to collaborate with somebody in Kent because they're close to home, or you may want to link up with some fellow investors in Ashby de la Zouch, and the website and the membership benefits allow you to link up. So the more members, the more powerful this association will become. So it's an escalation. It'll be a very dynamic association. Takes a little bit of time to get the wheels moving, but like I say, the more we are, the more we have, the louder we are.
So just coming back to the vetting process, then.
Yep.
Just to clarify for those that are joining tonight, it's not that scary.
No.
I'm assuming it's a fairly, although as you say, clear and concise, and you know there are some things that you, the board, and the directors want to know. It's not a scary vetting process, and you know doesn't delve too deep into.
No, but we reserve the right to find out a little bit about you. If you want to, you know, under data protection anyway, and human rights, etc., if you want to withhold some information, that's okay. That won't block your membership. We might go, oh, okay, I wonder why, and we are allowed to ask you. So you may not, for example, want to declare where you invest. That's okay. If you want to become a member, that's cool. So no, it's not scary, and we do want people to hopefully, if you like the mood and spirit of this evening, we do want you to join this evening. I know, for example, Toby, who's up next, is sitting next to somebody who will be joining this evening. He may well turn around. He may well turn around while you're interviewing him, Simon, and say, Raquel, would you like to join A.P.P.I, for example?
Okay.
And that might happen, you know.
Okay. Well, now as you've mentioned, Toby, let's welcome our next guest who has passed that vetting process. Toby, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Simon.
Good evening or good afternoon. No, what time is it? I
Good
should
evening.
point out, everyone. I'm in Australia. It's 5:15 in the morning, 5:20 in the morning. So anyway,
I think I'll just say good day. Good day, Simon.
G'day. How you going? Yep. So you've been investing a little longer than Harj, haven't you? When did you start out in property?
I started in 2017, so I'm 5 years in, and yeah, it's been really good.
What have you been up to?
Well, it's interesting. Tomorrow I sell the last property of my first portfolio. So I started in 2017. I was very prolific. We're always taught to look for motivated sellers. I was the opposite. I was a motivated buyer, and I bought 9 properties in a bit under 7 months, which sounds great, but of course, if you make the mistake once and you don't learn from it, and you buy 9 properties all at the same time, you replicate the same mistake 9 times. So that's totally what I did, and then I struggled for a couple of years trying to manage this beast that I started. It was buying properties, convert them into HMOs. And yes, tomorrow I sell the 10th property that I first bought. So I've done a portfolio. I made a lot of mistakes. It didn't work particularly well, but I survived, and I'm selling it, and I've started another portfolio with a different strategy. So one of the things I want to do is help people not make the same mistakes as me, because it was quite painful. I survived. I learned from it, but if people can learn from my mistakes, then that will make me a lot happier.
So you had a beast of a portfolio. Is your new one a beauty?
Yes, yeah. I think I like many people went through training, and you hear about all these strategies, and you get a bit confused, and they all sound fantastic. And there's always a strategy that's fashionable at the time, but just and at the time I thought I was doing all the right things, but it's only you have to live life forwards, but it only makes sense backwards. And just looking back over the last 5 years, I realized that I believe in every area there's a property strategy that works. The question is that strategy a good fit for you? And I've now realized that the strategy I chose wasn't great for who I am and what my skill set is, but my second portfolio is. I actually want a less hands-on type portfolio where I create value by thinking creatively, as opposed to having lots of moving parts. So I'm buying commercial property, I'm doing just straightforward buy-to-lets, family buy-to-lets, and it works a lot better for me. It's a lot more local, and it's more fun, and it's more profitable.
Terrific. So you got lots of experience, good and bad. So what was it then about the A.P.P.I that made you get involved? Was there a specific aspect of it that you knew would help you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm 5 years into my property career, and I want to be taken seriously. I want to be taken seriously by funders, by banks, by private investors. I want to be taken seriously by commercial agents. I want to be taken seriously by vendors and commercial vendors as well. And whenever you look at any industry, if you want to be taken seriously, you join the industry trade body. And when I looked around, there are lots of groups that you can join that are property related, but until now I don't believe there's been a group that is really designed for property investors. There's lots of groups that have grown up, and they've come from different backgrounds. They might come from a letting agency background or other backgrounds, but to my knowledge, the A.P.P.I is the first one that's been created by, for, and managed with property investors. And as I see myself as an ethical property investor, A.P.P.I has been set up to support ethical professional property investors. So yeah, there was absolutely no hesitation to sign up, because I want to be part of this group. And I think with time, as we become better known, that's going to pay dividends.
You mentioned professional investors there a lot, or a couple of times there. What do you think then are the biggest challenges that a professional landlord is facing at the moment, and how can the A.P.P.I help them?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been 150 separate pieces of legislation that relate directly to landlords that have been passed in the last 5 years. Now, it's impossible.
And a whole bunch more on the way.
And a whole bunch more on the way. And it's really impossible for you as an individual to make sense of this. You can subscribe to various trade magazines, you can sort of read stuff, you probably end up a little bit more confused. And the real question is, what does it actually mean to me in my portfolio? I don't need to know all the ins and outs of the legislation, but in terms of the portfolio I've got and the properties I'm looking to buy, how does this really impact me? And again, as I said, because the A.P.P.I has been set up by professional property investors, it has its own take on what's going on. It's got its own subcommittee that looks at precisely this topic, legislation, and what it means. And for me, that's just really helpful, and I can go to one place and get a point of view. And not everyone's going to agree with what the A.P.P.I says, but it's informed, and it has a take on all this legislation, how it can help you, how it might, create some threats, and what you can do to mitigate those threats and address those risks. So, for me, it's good to be part of a group where there's that kind of collateral and thought leadership going on.
I mean, you said, 100 and what was it?
150,
27 50 pieces of legislation. It's almost a minefield, or it can feel like a minefield, especially to a new investor. So having a group that can distill it down and make it relevant, because like you say, not everything is
absolutely. And these
applicable.
150 pieces of legislation, they're not being created against us. They're being created to professionalize the industry, to get rid of the rogue landlords, and to make sure tenants get a fair deal. And that's essentially the DNA of the A.P.P.I. So we've got nothing to fear from all this legislation, but it is helpful to have someone to hold your hand and just explain what the legislation means and what you need to do to protect yourselves and make sure your tenants are kept happy.
So from everything you've all said, everybody said so far, A.P.P.I is clearly unique. And I asked this to Harj earlier, what is it that makes it unique from your point of view?
I mean, it's hard when you're looking and you're not involved in something. You don't really know anything about it. But for me, it's just the DNA of the A.P.P.I. It's that integrity that's there, and that integrity actually makes stuff happen. So a lot of people won't know this, but there have been instances in the past where it wouldn't surprise you, people have paid a large amount of money, individuals paid a large amount of money to do property training, and didn't feel they were the money was taken, but they didn't feel they were getting a fair deal, and they didn't feel that what was promised was delivered. Now, normally as an individual, you've got no power at all. If that happens to you, there's not a lot you can do about it. A.P.P.I stepped in that situation, investigated the situation, went to the individual who took the money, and I'm very pleased to say got all the money back for that investor. And for me, that's I don't see that happening in other trade organisations, but it's already happened within the A.P.P.I, and it just gives you a sense of what the integrity. People use that word a lot, but what it actually means something. And I want to be part of a group which protects me, and that's another reason why I'm a member of the A.P.P.I.
Terrific. Thank you, Toby, for your input. Lindsay, let's continue that conversation a little. Let me ask you, Lindsay.
Yeah.
On the let's continue this conversation about what differentiates the organization to others. How do you see it? When you set it up, was there a key thing that you wanted to set you apart from other established bodies within the industry?
I wanted to, I mean, one of the great cries of property is also, I don't want people to be alone. I come across, one of the hats I wear from time to time is as a coach. And I tend to find that people get very isolated. So I wanted to stop the isolation. It's not a Lonely Hearts Club band, but I want the isolation. And on the flip side, we have sufficient contacts already within the membership to reach out to people in the councils, in Parliament, and indeed in the House of Lords. So we can establish a voice, and we don't necessarily have to be too polite about it. Like I say, the bigger we become, the louder our voice. Our vision is a voice all over the place. So not necessarily governments or council and government, but also, for example, to people like lenders. So in my view, which is not the case at the moment, apart from one particular thing that I mustn't forget to mention, which allows you to save 500 quid per annum dealing with a financial institution. But
Lindsay, can I just pause you a moment?
Yeah.
I just need to plug my laptop in. No.
Okay.
Carry on. I want you to carry on. I'm just going to go off screen a minute while
I see. You want me to embellish?
My laptop's come unplugged. That's good. You might lose me. Oh, so carry on.
Hey, being told to carry on is not a problem for me, because I have a great passion about what we're doing here. One of the visions is, if, for example, a bank like I don't know, for example, let's say, Together Bridging, who we love, and you'll find out why in a second. I do believe Okay, you're back on, Simon.
Yes.
I believe that together should, as should all lenders, give A.P.P.I members better service and/or discounted service and/or perhaps a specialist underwriting team. And why? Because we are prepared. You know, we're part of the good people. We are the good landlords. So we're certainly not there yet, because we need size, and we need the cohesive numbers to persuade lenders and knock them down as we go, like the Virgin Moneys, like the Aldermores. But the vision is to have a voice everywhere. So all insurers, all life companies, all banks, everything, to take over the world, to say, excuse me, we're a collection of people, be it 5 to 10,000 people. We are landlords. We don't represent all of the landlords in the UK, but a significant percentage of landlord holdings. And we have this code of conduct. Excuse me, we deserve some good treatment. Is that a good vision?
Amazing. Something you said at the beginning of it was that, and I think you've sort of explained that throughout what you've just been saying, is that you don't want people to be, or sometimes landlords and investors can feel isolated.
Yeah.
So I remember another presenter, you probably have met him along the way as well, Lindsay, who said at the end of one of his presentations, he used to say, property investing is a great big swimming pool. There's plenty of room, the water's warm, come on in.
I do.
There's room for everyone, you know who I mean?
Yeah, yes I do,
Is that sort of part of what you want to have within the A.P.P.I, that there's lots of people joining together?
Yeah, collaborative. We are going to be going out like a big whale, gathering organizations. For example, I know that the CEO isn't watching this evening, but he will see this recording, so he doesn't know it. But all the members of subscribers of YPN magazine, for example, will get involved. All the members of UK Property, run by Mark Dalton, will get involved. All the trainers in Asset Academy will get involved. All the trainers in Caroline Clayton's organization will get involved. So we'll be going out, grabbing groups of people, and so the organization will get bigger and bigger. You won't get lost, because of course we'll have the buddy system where you can look on the website and say, aha, so-and-so's in Ashby de la Zouch, great, I can gather together. But the DNA, I like that phrase that Toby used, the DNA of what we're trying to achieve here is good, high ethics, collaborative, helpful, supportive, and I think commercially beneficial. That's a key.
And it's all coming together with a considerable amount of experience behind all those involved.
Yeah, we launched. We did some walking along. We've now set up a series of subcommittees who are specializing in various areas. We've successfully, I think, 3 months running, possibly 4, run the Solve My Property Problem, which is proving to be incredibly well received, good feedback. People are asking silly questions, which are not silly. Experienced members are asking something about something else because it's a strategy they haven't used, done before. They may have built a town, but they've never done holiday lets. It's great fun. That's a 90-minute session with no agenda, no guest speaker yet. But I would imagine at some stage in the future, there'll be people like Raquel Querrell talking about being the green landlady and eco stuff like that. So there will be guest speakers in the future. But at the moment, the title's good for this collective network, which is Solve My Property Problem. And you get the opinion of every board member.
Okay.
Yeah, so forgive me for waffling. So I'm very excited about this.
That's all right.
Always have been.
I know you well enough.
And
I know you've always got plenty to share.
And I do want everybody who's listening tonight to click and join, and I'll tell you how at the end, please.
Okay. Well, let's go to our next guest then, who has got considerable experience and shares on the forum that you were talking about just there. Amit Malhotra, good evening. How are you?
Very well, Simon. Good.
Fantastic. Thanks for
Afternoon.
joining us.
Good morning.
In my case, yeah. Hold on, looking out. No, it's still not daylight. So same as the other guests we've met so far, I think it'd be great if you could give us a little rundown of how you got in property, where you are now, and also why, because I think you know, sharing your whys is also quite important.
Sure, Simon. Welcome all to this session this evening. My name's Amit Malhotra. I'm the owner of Bailey Homes. It never started that way. I went to university, came out, went into banking, a day job, 9 to 5. It was more like 9 to 9 in the banking industry. And yeah, made a lot of money. However, it wasn't fun, very stressful, long hours. And I always wanted to get into property. Wasn't able to get into property because didn't have much money, but started off in 2006 buying studio flats. First one in Southall, UB2 5NT. I still remember the postcode, for £75,000. You know, slowly grew it, one a year. Tried to do 2 a year. Got very bored of and could afford more than a studio flat. Because, as you know, leverage in property is amazing. Moved on to larger buy-to-let properties, HMOs, and got bored very quickly. I'm very driven, and I always wanted to try new things. So progression. Where there's an opportunity, I like to be there. To see how it takes place. So more recently, over the last 7-8 years, jumped on the wagon for office conversions. And strange enough, bought a site in Gerrard's Cross, had a small car park. Didn't think I was capable of doing new build, went into new build. So converted the building to residential, then did a new build, and fortunately with good people in the property industry, such as Lindsay Hopkins and so forth, I'm here today. So I'd like to think I've got a bit of experience behind me now, and yes. Yeah, it's fun. Property is very fun.
A great depth of knowledge there across a real huge range of strategies. That's focusing on why you got involved with A.P.P.I. then. What was it that attracted you? Was there a single aspect, or was it a number of things? So,
Simon, when I was in property, as you know, when you're new to something, you always look up to people. You need someone to handhold or talk to. I didn't have that. And I always looked back, thought, well, if I had good people in property who had integrity, who had the right mindset, I would have gone a lot further, a lot quicker. So obviously, A.P.P.I is born. And I thought, well, this is now an opportunity for me to give back. And for property investors, regardless of what level you're at, to be part of. You know, I might be a little bit more experienced, but now it's time to give back. At the same time, I also know some of the board members and other people that are now members who are doing 10 times as much as me. So it's great. You know, you learn from people above you and you pick people below you up. That's the way I think it should all be about.
Mm-hmm. So there's still experience and knowledge you can gain, but you're also involved so that you can share your knowledge as well. Is there something perhaps within the A.P.P.I that you could highlight that helped you, or helped you in the first instance when you first joined?
Yeah, sure. So Fortunately, some of the board members are now good friends. Back then, when I was doing commercial conversions and I was new to it, I didn't know much about bridging. So fortunately enough, I reached out to one of my mentors and they put me in the right direction. And if that wasn't available, I could honestly say I wouldn't be here today. You know, a lot of people, you know, fight or flight mentality. And I think because of that, you know, A.P.P.I is really, really useful. And I think it's going to be something awesome. Yeah, so all I say is you've got to be part of it, otherwise you miss out.
Well, I talked to Toby about the professionalism of the industry, and we talked about portfolio landlords. This organisation, it's not just for portfolio landlords, is it? As a new investor, you can join and benefit now, can't you?
Of course, of course. I strongly believe, you know, you've got to be part of something. The last thing you want to do is not be part of it and then miss out on the opportunity. So anyone who loves property, wants to get involved in property, needs to be here. And who knows what the opportunity lies. You know, I've worked with people who are a lot more experienced than me, and they've showed me strategies which I couldn't think for myself. Then at the same time, there's people who I've supported because someone has supported me. So, you know, it's very, very useful to have good people in all areas. And I personally feel, you know, from what I've seen over the last year, A.P.P.I, you know, there's some very, very knowledgeable people, and it's about sharing and growing. That's what I think.
A collaborative community. How about that?
Yes. A
great phrase. I mean, you know, that represents, you know, a very sort of dynamic and proactive atmosphere, and I think you've made it very clear that that's what's coming through from my point of view. So, Amit, thank you very much.
Simon, I just want to say one thing. I just want to say one thing before I go on mute. So, for all those people listening out there, obviously, I'm going to say join. You have to join, or you miss out. So be there or be square.
Thank you. Thank you.
That amused Lindsay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Lindsay, coming back to you then.
Yeah.
It's obvious that there's a very strong emphasis on network, on community and collaboration.
Yeah.
Was that I mean, we've talked about lots of things so far about the organisation. That's clearly the foundation point of the organisation: network and collaboration.
So help with, if you like, help with no agenda really. The sort of we read books about the, you know, the give back bit. Well, it's a chance to give back, irrespective of where you are in your progression in property. So, for example, Harsh, who's very kindly decided to accept my invitation to join the board of directors. Why did we invite Harsh? Because we want her perspective, for example, as a brand new property investor, because we can't see the industry from her eyes. So there's across the board experiential input into putting together A.P.P.I. We're gonna take on new ideas as we go along. So we're not just going to say this is who we are and that's it. A couple of other things I haven't mentioned, which is it is our intention, and it will happen because there's now a subcommittee, to have an annual awards and conference towards, normally in Q4 of every year. What will we be awarding? We'll be awarding outstanding performance in a variety of areas where ethical conduct is obvious. The conference bit is networking, probably a bit of a black tie dinner, probably a bit of a golf competition if it's anywhere near Celtic Manor, who knows. And so please be aware of that. I'm looking at my 12 list of benefits, and I think I've covered pretty well everything, but
Yeah.
I can spin through them. But one thing I must mention is, otherwise I'll be told off by the rest of the board, who look friendly, but they beat me up on a regular basis. The membership to join is £20 a month, or £200 per annum, which is a 40 quid savings. So if you're going to join, I would suggest you just chuck 200 quid and join for the year. To pay for that, if you ever get involved with Bridging Finance, Together, who are one of our supporters, Together Bridging, will give a 0.5% discount of fees on the first bridge you do. There is a minimum, but I think it's around about borrowing 100,000 quid. Let me share the maths with you. All of you know who are attending, I'm not a technocrat, but that's a saving of £500 fees on your first bridge. Well, 500 is more than 200 quid annual membership fee. So we've saved that for you. All you do is flag up to Together, you're a member of A.P.P.I, and if they don't honour that discount, I'll want to know why. So don't worry about it. So, and that's one example of hopefully hundreds of commercial benefits. But the more we have, the louder our voice, the more benefits we can get, the more clout we have, lenders, councils, governments, and. So, look, it's a bit of a mantra this evening, obviously, but that's why we want members.
Oh, there's a ton of dynamic activity going on here, I can tell. So what do people have to do to actually get involved? How do they join?
Okay.
Have we got a link in the chat box or something?
I think we're going to put the. There is a lovely lady called Diana who is there. There she is. So you click on the link there. We can scan. You can scan.
It's a QR code. Oh, that's easy then. Yes, just scan the QR code and you'll get through.
Or you type the appi.co.uk, join us in the.
There's also a link now in the chat
browser.
box.
Yeah.
Okay.
As I say, I think it's a no-brainer. If you're going to do a bridge this year, we're Together, great. If you do the annual membership, even better. Please look at the website. There's a lot to read. Can I have a go at speed reading, Simon, and just go through and make sure I've covered all 12 benefits? Just to hammer it home. Okay.
Just before that, so a reminder to join up then, either use the QR code there, or there's a link in the chat box. The options are it's 20 quid a month or £200 annually, so you save a bit by paying in one lump sum. And Lindsay mentioned also your first Together bridge, you'll save £500 on the fees. So no brainer. All right, give us those benefits you're going to read through, speak through.
Apparently, if you speak over 187 words a minute, the human brain won't listen. So I've just got to get to 180 words a minute and speed read. Somebody also prompted me to mention that this membership rate will be changing after tonight. So this is a founder member rate. And as a founder member, because we only formed in November last year, as a founder member, there will be certain benefits and we will recognize you as founder members in the annual conference. You'll get at least half a pint of free beer, I would have thought, or a gin and tonic or whatever your poison is. By the way, I have been rudely messaged by somebody saying, why are you drinking Guinness during a webinar? It's a 0 Guinness, okay? You buy it from Waitrose. I don't drink alcohol, so it's a 0 Guinness. Are you ready for the speed reading competition, Simon?
Yes, please.
You need to time me. You timed me last time. Are you ready?
Okay,
ready,
hold
steady.
on, put you on stopwatch.
Okay, stopwatch. Ready, go. Access to preferred traders, a comprehensive reading list, A.P.P.I exclusive monthly networking meetings, invitation to the annual conference, continuous provision of core business training documents, discounts and incentives for approved industry sectors, open and honest forums on a regular basis in networks, a clear code of conduct, a collective voice to Parliament and the House of Lords, listed on interactive A.P.I. members, as in the map, as in finding people in your area geographically where you live, people in the area geographically where your strategy is. A professional and progressive membership structure as you progress with your experience, which is recognized, and a part of a cohesive voice to banks, lenders, councils, insurers, etc., etc., etc. Boom. And what was that?
49 seconds.
Not bad. That beat last time. Sorry, that was a bit of a joke,
So-
lovely people, but thank you for listening.
So just to remind then, if you want all of those benefits that you had reeled off in 49 seconds, then click the link that's in the chat box or use the QR code to get involved. Finally, Lindsay, just before we go, why do you do this?
I do this because it covers all three of my core values, and these values are very similar to other people. Basically, fun, it allows landlord freedom, and it looks after families. So my core values are fun, freedom, family, and A.P.P.I. is all about those core values. So it fits like a glove for me and all the other people who join.
Fantastic. Lindsay, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Let's just have a quick thank you to our other guests there. Harj, thank you very much.
Harsh, thank you.
Toby and Amit.
Thank you,
Thank
Toby.
you, thank you.
Thank
And there
you,
we
Michelle.
are.
Just want to share one thing,
Brilliant.
if I may. So Lindsay reiterated together finance. Me and property, I came across a hurdle where I was short on a building I wanted to buy, and strangely enough, I spoke to one of my experienced property professionals, and together supported me in raising the money. Now, just to put things into perspective, if A.P.P.I. was there at that time when I did the refinance, I would have saved myself about £5,000. Now,
Wow.
that's substantial. So in the grand scheme of things, the way I see it is £200, and you could save thousands of pounds. Obviously, it all dependent on the level you are in property, but you have to start somewhere. And I don't know about you, regardless, as we grow, savings are always great, hey? So
Absolutely.
I can vouch for Together Finance.
Thank you, Amit. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you all. So Lindsay, one last thing, just before we go, when the Solve Your Property Problem, when is that next networking event? I'm just thinking for anyone who joins now, when can they get on that next one?
Yeah, I think Michelle is able to type that into the chat box, I reckon. Michelle Montgomery is the operations director of A.P.P.I, who you haven't heard from this evening. Why? Because she's busy behind the scenes making sure we all behave. There's also a lovely lady who is part of the board of directors as well. That's a thank you to Diana. I don't know if is Ollie involved at all this evening, Simon? I don't know. Maybe not.
So.
It's just a straightforward
not
Zoom
tonight.
call. Okay. So thank you, everybody. So the Solve My Property Problem, which you are more than welcome to attend, is normally mid of the month, but Michelle will put it in the chat box, I hope. If not,
21st of July. There you go. It's in the chat box now. So 21st
Lovely,
of
thank
July
you.
is the.
It's 90 minutes long. It's open forum. No guest speakers. We chat about anything you want. I receive, so do the other board members, questions from people. We chuck it in the middle. I think there were 5 or 6 questions covered over 90 minutes at the last meeting, which is great. We fill the time. We don't overrun, but we fill the time. You're welcome to jump on and off when you want. You can eat your supper while you're listening to it, as long as you close your mouth when you're eating. You're welcome. It's a members forum. It's members to help members to help members. People love it.
Great. And Toby, has Raquel joined up yet?
She has joined. Yes.
She has
There we go.
joined.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Alongside.
Thank you, Raquel.
Okay, let's finish off then. So everyone just click through on the code using the QR code or the code that's in the chat box. Get joined up, £20 per month or 200 a year. We've gone through so many benefits, so many reasons why, and I look forward to chatting to some of you, all of you in the future.
One last thing, I've forgotten one last thing. I've forgotten. The first 10 people to sign up tonight, because normally we have around about a 50% sign up. The first 10 will be receiving a one-to-one session, just a hello session. It's not a coaching session, but it's a one-to-one session. So one of the board members will ring you up and say, hello, when do you want to chat for 15 minutes? And so in effect, I suppose you end up grabbing one of the board members as a sort of a buddy for the first year or so. So that's for the first 10 people who sign up. So I forgot to say that, but that's for the first 10. So Michelle is monitoring that. So if you've already signed up, great, thank you. Raquel, you can end up having Toby as your buddy. Yeah, there you go. They're already accountability buddies, hence the in-joke. Sorry. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Simon, for hosting. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Even though you're in Australia and it's early morning.
Yeah.
And look forward to working with you. Please join and look forward to seeing you on Solve My Property Problem. You have the last word, Simon.
Just remains for me to say thank you all. Thanks for having me. And I'll see you all soon when I'm back in UK. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you.